when you can show up and be uniquely, authentically you, and that connects with somebody that's attracted to that, then you have a great conversation going that leads into business.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
How do you go from $200,000 in personal debt to $2 million a year in revenue and international business awards? Hey, pay close attention today as we interview Matt Shoup, the founder of 6 successful companies and the best-selling author of The Painted Baby. He's sharing his journey and the mistakes that took him to the top.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, Matt.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm super excited to be here and share stories with you today.
Yeah, you've got some really interesting ones that we want to dig into that I think the audience will love. Let's start with a bit of your background. Like what brought you to where we are right now and getting to talk to you in 6 successful businesses?
It started as I was labeled as a kid with ADD, and I got in trouble a lot, back in the early school days in elementary school. And I'm really just like thankful and grateful that I'm standing here with successful businesses, because the environment I grew up in, nobody saw that entrepreneurial drive and spirit that I had. I was very much labeled like, hey, you're talking too much, telling stories, you're not doing your schoolwork, like sit down, shut up, do what you're told. Nobody took me under their wing, but just the school environment never fit for me. So I was kind of an outcast. And then I got bullied on top of that. I had like big buck teeth and, all that stuff going on. But we moved from New Jersey when I was 10 years old out to northern Colorado. And that summer, that was a really defining moment for me. So I settle into the neighborhood. All of these kids, these friends I'm making, they have big boom boxes that their parents bought for them. So this is right when compact disc came out. And they were a couple $100s at Radio Shack. So I came home. I'm like, hey, Mom, Dad, Johnny got a boombox from his mom and dad. Will you go buy me one? And they're like, no, go find a way to make your own money. And like that phrase right there, go find a way to make your own money, just got my wheels spinning. I'm like, I can do whatever I want to, like, do whatever you want. So I was making $4 a week to cut their grass at home. That was the allowance and the chores I had per se. So I just said, hey, I'm going to take that mower when I'm not cutting your grass and go cut everybody else's. So I went down the street, knocked on doors, and landed a bunch of like reoccurring lawn mowing accounts at 10 years old. And I mean, the lawnmower is like bigger than me, right? I'm just pushing this thing down the street. And I made a couple $1,000s that summer. So like for me, it was a very defining moment. I just gained confidence and certainty, set a goal, accomplished a goal. And I found out like I love doing this stuff. And I was very driven by the money. And that became almost a not super healthy thing moving forward, which we can talk about. But, I said, hey, here's the goal. Here's the work to get to the goal. Go do it. Bought the boom box. That turned into snow shoveling. And then I peddled candy out of my middle school locker. And then I was suspended for that.
Hey, what kind of candy? I have to know.
It. I got whatever you want, guys. I won't have it. You tell me I'll have it next week. I mean, it was bubble gum, the licorice and soda, the Reese's Pieces. I had all the shelves in the locker, and then I had a repeat client. Whatever was left in the bag, which sometimes was a lot, sometimes wasn't much. It was $5 a day. Back in 94, like that's good. That's good money for a 12-year-old.
Yeah, it's great money. And it's look, you found a niche and filled the vacuum of that, and made money with it. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's entrepreneurialism at its best, right?
Yeah,
it was. The school store didn't like it, because they were declining. They're like, "Where's everybody?" They're like, "They're at Matt's locker." So I got in school suspension, very similar to the Bart Simpson writing. I will not make fun, throw spitwads at the teacher. I had to write out why I would not have a business. But I just, I look back and it's like, man, can you imagine, like knowing what I know now, you find a kid like that, go encourage them, give them something to do. And, that passion didn't get reignited again until college, because that's how I got into painting, was while I was at Colorado State University. I got recruited by a college painting company. And, they came in and said, hey, what are you going to do this summer? You going to work at a shoe store, sandwich shop, deliver pizzas? I'm like, yeah, probably. And how about you come learn about business, marketing, sales? You can use our money. We'll teach you everything. And then the guy goes, hey, I made $30,000 last summer. This is about sophomore in college. So again, it's a lot of money back then. And I jumped right in with a college painting company while I was at Colorado State for 4 years.
So what flipped from there to you actually starting your own company? What was that driving factor?
Really funny. So the middle school suspension, I'm like, see, like you can't do business. It's going to get, the world's going to shut it down. So I went hourly. College painters reignites the passion in business. And I did that during college. I'm like, I'm not going to stay in painting. It wasn't sexy. Like, that's what I keep saying. That was what was going through my mind. It's like, it's dirty, it's painting, it's blue collar. So I leave college, buy a home, and I got a mortgage on the home. A very not so great mortgage looking back, but the mortgage lender that put me in this mortgage was showing me how well he was doing. He's got a nice fancy car and flashing the money around. And again, I was very attracted to money. That's been, just part of my story. And he goes, hey, you'd make tons of money doing this mortgage thing. I'm like, great, let's do it. Got into it, totally hated it. Ended up working at a bank, a very conservative bank, which really reminded me of school. Sit down, shut up, do what you're told, button up the shirt and the tie. And I got fired on a Tuesday morning, March 2005. A bank president calls me into his office. And he said, put all your shit in a box. You're fired. Like, didn't even introduce himself to me. It was the new guy they brought in. And they're just cleaning house. And I'm literally like in the parking lot. I'm 23. Yeah, 23. All my stuff in a box. No more money coming in. And like lots of bills, lots of debt. She said, all I know how to do literally is knock on doors. And I'm not going to cut grass, but I know how to paint houses. So that's how M&D Painting was literally founded. It was like mid-afternoon that Tuesday. We were up and rolling.
Yeah. Pure necessity.
It was, yeah, backwards against the wall. And it was like, what is the quickest way? Like, I didn't have a vision. I didn't have a business plan. Didn't think about the logo. I spent $32 on like crooked cut business cards at Kinko's with just text, cell phone, and then knocked on doors, and I go, hey, I'll be here on Saturday doing estimates. And I scheduled a bunch of estimates. I'm like, wait, I don't have proposals. I had to go buy contracts. I mean, it was by the minute by minute seat of the pants for the first couple of weeks until we got, some cash underneath us.
Wow. That sounds like my early days selling vacuum cleaners door to door.
Yeah.
I did that to pay my way through college.
Yeah.
And you just go through the neighborhood and demonstrate vacuum cleaners all day. And you really just don't know what situation you're walking into until you walk into it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been like chased by dogs, bit by dogs.
Yes, me too.
The sweetest people, like somebody invites me in, they're like, oh, you're here during dinner? Just why don't you come eat dinner? You look like a nice guy. All the way till like, I'm going to go get my gun and shoot you if you don't leave. And it really builds some grit and some resilience, though. I think any door-to-door anything, if you can go through that once in your life and succeed at it, it just builds so much character.
Mm-hmm.
It does. Yeah. The one thing you have to learn is not to take it personally, and that took me a long time to figure that out.
I don't
You're
know.
right.
You knocked on their door during dinner and you're trying to sell them a vacuum. They already got a vacuum.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like who wakes up in the morning and says, wow, I hope somebody comes around to sell me a vacuum today?
Nobody.
No one. No.
If you're like me, you're glad the vacuum's broke or you don't have one. So, but eventually that'll catch up with you too. It's interesting. I have a little bit of the same story. And when I was a senior in high school, I had enough credits to do what back then they called DCT, which is, I can't remember what it stood for, but it was a work program. So you finished out your classes at the first part of the day, and then the rest of your classes was working, like hands-on working for somebody like this. And I came up with the idea for a mobile oil change business. And the principal loved it. And Donna Powers was my DCT coordinator. She loved it, but it was shot down by the school system, the superintendent, because he's like, well, it doesn't fit into purview of what we're trying to do. The whole purpose of the DCT work program is that you have a mentor that is teaching you a trade or a craft, and they are effectively grading you, right? But I will give it the principal and Donna both, Miss Gross, but Miss Powers, I'm sorry, that really pushed to say, well, each client would effectively be his his mentor and, and grade him on the work that he did, but we never could get it passed. But I'll never forget when I got my high school diploma, which is the highest I went on my education before I got into real estate. That principal shook my hand and said, "Have you started that business yet?" And I'm like, "Not yet." And he goes, "You will." And it just always stuck in my mind. And so a little bit of a different spin on how education actually, or not education, if you will, but the key people, pushed in the right direction.
Yeah. And that's always great. I mean, mentors, for anybody watching this, wherever they're at in their journey, if you're a business owner now, or you're going to be mentor, somebody that's been there, done that, they've already taken the licks and the hard knocks, and they can say, "Oh yeah, don't do that. Just trust me, do this." Or, "Hey, I've got an experience, share," where it can bring some value. I mean, that's been a great part of success. And then when you get to any level of success, being able to turn around and pour that back into somebody else is always huge.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Totally agree with that.
And Michael, you just set up a nice segue into our next question for Matt, because speaking of your clients grading you, we know the story of the painted baby, but for our audience, would you please share that story, which is really the crux of kind of your success today and where you are today? And I know that a lot of people would benefit from hearing that.
Yeah,
love to share. And, it was a dirty little secret that I didn't share for a really long time. We live in a society, in a world where everybody paints pictures of perfection, everywhere you go. And that's to some degree part of marketing, right? So it's the go to social media, perfect life, perfect wife, perfect vacation, perfect product. And that actually prevents true connection when you do that. And I just found it out in kind of the craziest of ways. So I'm a sales guy. I'm a marketing and sales guy at heart. And in 2011, I'm sitting about to close the biggest paint job of our company's history. It's like $60-some thousand, which it's 20 times the size of a normal paint contract. And I'm sitting with a customer that I've already done business with. So he knows we've done a great job. We've always done a great job. I have this, I don't have it with me, but this, 8-page marketing brochure, shiny marketing brochure with all the testimonials, and got everything perfectly put out there for him. And I just start taking him through the contract and, go to close the deal. And he's not biting, he's not signing, he's not committing. So we're back and forthing a little bit. And I just keep feature, benefit, here's the 5-star, the 8+. And he's like, "Matt," he literally takes the marketing brochure and he tosses it across his office. He said, "This thing is crap. You know it, I know it. You got to tell me about a time that you screwed up. You're not perfect. And I want to hear about some of your screw ups." And like, when do we get asked that ever?
Right.
In business, marketing, storytelling, right?
And when would we share it if we did get asked that?
And I'm on the spot now. And again, like the way I'm wired is I'm competitive and direct. And so is he. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's a super successful guy. He said, "Well, fine. You want to hear something? I painted the wrong color on a house once." And he's like, "Well, that's not that big of a deal. You just go get the right color and fix it." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." So I go, "Fine. We painted the right color on the wrong house. Do you want to hear about that?" And like, I upped the ante because we actually did this. And when I said that, he's like, "What?" He leaned in. I had him hooked. And then I tell him the story of, I confused, there was a same address on a drive and a court. There's literally 2 different houses. And my crew showed up to the other house, scraped it, primed it, caulked it, masked everything. They had primer all over the house. And anyway, they called me up ready for the paint, which wasn't there because it was at the right house. So I'm sharing this with Bill, and he's like, "Man," he goes, that's pretty cool, but I feel like you've got a better story. And the story is this. I said, "Fine, I'm going to tell you this, but like, you have to do business with me if I tell you this." I was so scared. I said, "We painted a baby." Whenever I say that, right, like, there's a laugh, the jaw drops, somebody they want to know. And the quick synopsis of it is, we're on a job site. I'm not on the job site. My crew is there. We're painting for a wonderful family. Mom comes out every morning to bring the guys drinks and snacks and cookies, and she'll pop out every few hours to check out the paint job. And she's got a 9-month-old baby. And she comes out every day, says hi to the guys, like, just super, like, nicest customer ever. And I'm doing a bank deposit 20 minutes away. My phone just keeps ringing and ringing. It's my painter. His name's Raul. And I hung up on it like 9 times. And I'm like, maybe I should call him back. And I call him, and he is screaming on the other end of the phone. He's, "Mateo, Mateo." So he speaks Spanish. He's from Mexico. And he's like, come quick. There's paint everywhere and the boom and the baby and the lady. And I'm like, hey, what? There's the mom is screaming. There's a baby crying. And he goes, Mateo, I paint the baby, and hangs up the phone. And he's kind of a jokester. And like, he already had his weekly joke yesterday, and it's serious. So I roll up to the job site. I pull up, and as soon as I pull up, his brother, who's on the crew, is folding up drop cloths covered in black semi-gloss paint. And he just points me up the driveway. I literally follow this trail of paint around the side of the house. And what happened was Raul's getting ready to pull the trigger on a paint spray gun. It's a highly pressurized machine. And it just jammed in the like 1 in a billion ways that it could ever jam, because it doesn't happen on the regular, right? And he pulls the trigger, and all that pressure, the paint just back sprayed, side sprayed. It didn't come out the way it was supposed to. And it hit everything around, all the property, landscaping, but it hit mom and the baby as well. Because she's standing there like, oh, these doors are going to look beautiful when they're black semi-gloss paint. So yeah, we painted a baby. When I'm here 3 years later in the biggest moment of my life, and that's going to be a transformational account for the business. That's going to free me up to hire some people to take our business to that next point. And I'm like, what did I just do? I just showed a moment of weakness of 1 star, and he just was hooked and leaned in the whole time. He said, what did you do about it? And I told him how we made it right, how we addressed, and there's a process of how you share and how you address these things. And he, at the end of that, I'm like, he's going to kick me out. No way I'm going to get the job. And he literally shakes my hand, picks up the pen, signs the contract. He's like, let's get it done. And he says, you're the kind of guy I want to do business with. You say you have integrity, but you've never had to show that to me because it's never been on the line. You say you'll do the right thing, but when's anything ever gone wrong where you have to go do the right thing? And you don't get to show that with perfection.
Mm-hmm. That's genius, actually. And that was a $60,000 job, right?
Oh, yeah, big job.
Yeah. There's such a lesson in that, Matt. It's amazing. And we could spend hours just on that alone, but what a great way to show what you just said, parenting back, the integrity. When did you have to act with integrity? And that's a fantastic one. And what a fantastic question from another guy that, had probably, maybe somebody had asked him that before and made him prove himself at some point. That's really
never shared, because he's still a great friend of mine. And when I was writing the book and I share the opening story of this in the book, I sent it out. I go, hey, Bill, can you, just make sure everything's accurate here? And he's like, I don't really remember it. Like, it was just another day, another coffee, another meeting. But it really changed the way we approached sales, storytelling. I initially, when I wrote Painted Baby, it was going to be really, really sales focused. It was like, okay, share the business nightmare, get more sales. But what I really found as I really started digging into the message, because the book took me actually like 7 years to write, is that it's more of just, it's the deeper human connection that you get by being vulnerable. And then that builds trust. And then that's going to give you more sales. That's going to find not better team members, but team members that know that they can be real and you can connect with them at a deeper level, builds culture, builds relationship. And I just share, hey, think about the worst day at your business, at your office, and your competitor finds that out. And then they're going to go to the sales appointment. They're going to talk all of that about you. Just go out and do it first.
Yeah. Beat him to the punch.
Literally nothing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You kill the hostage, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? Yeah, that's really whatever they're going to hold against you, you just go ahead and take it out. I totally believe in that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, there are a lot of, young entrepreneurs starting businesses the way we all did. And, given that experience and other experiences that you've had, what's some good advice that you would give somebody just starting out?
Yeah, is just take it one day at a time. It just make sure you're making just a little bit of progress. I think the big thing is I want to have this $1 million company, or you see somebody or another company and then you start comparing their journey to yours. It's like, no, just that's a big goal. Like, it took us a long time to get to where we are, but just every day, how do you go out and serve somebody? How do you go out and introduce somebody to your company? And you have to measure things, but don't get too tied up in that. Is just drive forward and find the things that actually bring you business. I already mentioned it is get a mentor. And in that driving forward, just those daily activities, right? Like in real estate, you're making your calls, you're doing your drop-ins, whatever those things are. It is, everything just takes more time than you think it's going to take. It does for me.
Yep.
Sometimes you'll just get really lucky. You'll have something just land there out of the blue. Sometimes that's luck. Sometimes that's this culmination of hard work. And then I would also say is really be careful about what you're letting in here from other people. Everybody's going to have an opinion about if you should be starting a business or not, usually based on, a lot of times their views and models of the world. So I had a lot of people say, you're going to do what? You need to go get a secure job. Like, I just lost a secure job. Like, there's nothing secure about that to me.
Right.
You've got to cut that stuff out. And I'm an eternal optimist, right? Like I really am. And there's going to be people that support you until you get to a certain level. And then sometimes that story starts changing. Mm-hmm. So just expect that. It's unfortunate, but it is the truth.
It is
they support you till you get a little too far. And then they're like, well, you screwed somebody to get there, or, well, so just watch for that.
Is that jealousy factor?
Yeah, I think that's wise. That's real wise. It's a lot. The people that start with you won't always end with you. That's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. And some people, I struggled with that in the growth of my company, because I would be like, why? They were just so incredibly bought in. But I learned that most of the time they were bought in at that where they were comfortable.
At that level.
And that level where they were comfortable.
And the different levels will require different kinds of skill sets and different kind of attitudes and mindsets. And and you just gotta watch for that. But again, like I'm an eternal optimist. I think everybody, like there's good in everybody, but just watch for that, because that kind of caught me by surprise. I'm like, wow, everybody's really supporting me. And the first time we had a scenario where maybe that story shifted, that song changed on their radio, I was like, what is it? And then my mentor said, that's them. That's not you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that happens a lot. We teach our clients that when we do personal branding for them, that not everybody wants you to succeed. No. So one of the 6 ways your brand is really working for you is when you get some negative feedback.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's when it's really working. People are paying attention to it. It's somehow hitting a nerve amongst some of the people who don't want you to succeed. And it's unfortunate, but that is just the truth of how human beings behave sometimes.
It is. Yeah. It's just, it is human nature and human behavior at its finest. And I recall it was not too far into the business. I was at the paint store picking up paint or ordering paint, and like painter tried to fight me in the parking lot,
Oh my gosh.
And I go, what? It's like, I come home and I told my wife, I told some of the crews, and then I talked to another painter who I'd known. He's still a great friend. He's been in the business forever. He's like, yeah, you just ruffled those guys' feathers the way you came out of that gate, and, with your sign spinning, and, we did some guerrilla marketing, but he goes, just consider it a compliment that people are trying to fight you in a parking lot.
Yeah. It's hard to quantify that way, but it's great because you're making a splash. And I would be remiss, Matt, if I didn't tell and I wish I had it. It's at the house. You sent us an espresso maker with this killer branding in the box and the book, the painted baby.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Beautiful.
So is that one of your guerrilla marketing tactics? Because it's fantastic. Because I didn't realize that there had been a connection, because Tanya runs so much of BrandFace and I run so much of the real estate. And then and I saw this. I'm like, what's this? I remember calling on the phone. I'm like, who sent us this? And she said, I don't know. Let me look.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's Matt. Matt's the author of The Painted Baby. It's like, that's amazing. All of that.
Yeah. And when I said we're going to have him on Be Bold Branding soon. And I'm like, okay, all right. But I loved it.
Yes. With some bold Spanish coffee. Tell us how you got hooked on Spanish coffee.
It's an addiction for sure. And I don't know if it's totally healthy, but it's better than other addictions, other substances I could be.
True.
So while I was at Colorado State, I had a professor there. I was a Spanish major or minor, and she pulled me aside every day. Oh, you should go see my beautiful country. She's from southern Spain, and she just would literally bother me every day, day after day. And I go, you know what? Like, what's there to lose? I'm 19. I spend the same amount of money, go overseas, live with a family, and I lived in Spain, right outside Madrid, spring of 2002. Totally fell in love with everything about Spain. And every time I would go back over these past like 20 years, I just loved their coffee. So I'd bring their coffee back, and then I'd bring it back for me. And then a friend would say, "Ooh, bring some for me." So this coffee smuggling started getting larger and larger to the point where I have a friend shipping it in big boxes. But customs, that's how you smuggle drugs. So they would slice half of it open. And I'm like, this isn't working. COVID kind of shut all that down. And we branded and we source the beans right from a Kenyan family's farm. It comes direct to us. We roast it local. And then we just created our own little brand. It's called Cafe Sevilla. So when you come out to our building, we have a little free coffee bar. And just the premise of it is just to show love to people, sharing coffee with them. It's, it's something I love, and I get to share that with you, and you just connect at a different level. Not everybody loves coffee though. So we've got tea and hot chocolate. And the fun part of the story is one day we have a gentleman in here, and he wanted to buy it. He wanted to pay for it. Like, it's not for sale. Don't need another business. Don't want another business. And he goes, well, fine. And he drops $20 in this mug. It's this decorative mug. It's downstairs, but I used to drink beer out of it in Spain when I lived over there. And he goes, well, find something good to do with this. So I get to thinking, we have had a scholarship at Colorado State that sends students over to Spain. We've sent 19 students there since 2007.
Oh, fantastic.
So I connected all these dots, and I'm like, cool, here's free coffee. If you want to leave a tip, you can do it online, do it in the beer mug. And then that builds the scholarship. So it's been a really cool way to, share a love of something and then send somebody on that same kind of adventure that like could change their life.
I love it.
I do too. We try to brand everything, as you can imagine, Matt. So we branded our kitchen several years ago because we both love to cook. We're like foodies, crazy foodies. And so we named our kitchen Chez Savour, the house of flavor, right? And so we need to probably start putting your Spanish coffee in our Chez Savour kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So we could start doing some videos from there and focus on your coffee too. So thank you for that gift. It was so kind of you. So kind. Okay, we're going to round it out. We hate to go, but we've got 3 final questions for you. So what one piece of advice, Matt, would you give people about personal branding?
Is make it you, make it unique, make it different, and don't be afraid to just try something crazy and see what sticks. And don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't copy what everybody else is doing. Look at the structure, the mindset behind it, but it's got to be you.
Mm-hmm.
It does have to be you. And you just hit on a real hot button for a lot of people. They feel like, what will people think of me? Right? Will they judge me? And am I going to appear arrogant or egotistical? And we say, you know what? Personal branding is not about look at me. It's about how I can help you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they go into it with that mindset, then it shifts everything in every way they think about it.
And somebody might judge you. So like if they judge you, great. I think like we all as humans, we walk around and we judge everybody every day. There's that judgment filter, but when you can show up and be uniquely, authentically you, and that connects with somebody that's attracted to that, then you have a great conversation going that leads into business. But if you fake it and that's not really you, you're going to draw people that might not be your ideal connection anyway. So it's like you'll find that out later, usually a lot more expensively than just, you want to turn people off to some degree. I have people that are somebody that was really turned off the other day by the fact that I have a real estate license and can help them, buy and sell real estate. They're like, but then you go teach jujitsu, like you're all over the place. I go, yeah, but it works and I love it and it's my passions. So,
and you do it. Yeah, you're living it every day.
Yeah. They no doubt, like if they fish or they hunt or they, like going to car races or things like that, that's another passion for them, right? Doesn't have anything to do with where they work, but everybody has to do what they do the very best.
It's like my daughter says, "You do you, girl."
Yes, that's right. You do you. That's so true.
So we may know the answer to this one, we may not. If our listeners had the freedom to visit anywhere on earth, which place would you tell them to go and why?
Yeah, I'm going to say it. So Seville, Spain. I
Love it.
Climb the tower, try their food, hang out with their people, most friendly people on the planet. It's a magical, beautiful place.
That's awesome.
Hey, and if you guys want to see Matt's tattoo, then you're going to have to flip on the camera for this one. Okay, flip on your video for this one, not just audio.
And then finally, Matt, just tell our audience how they can connect with you and learn more about your journey.
Yeah, everything's on my website, mattshoup.com.
Yep. And here, for those of you who are watching the video right now, Painted Baby book. Love the covers. This your little one?
So that is my daughter from when she is 3 years old. That's Haley. Yeah. When we did this marketing campaign, this was part of the whole marketing campaign, and we needed to find an image of a painted baby. We couldn't find any good ones. And I'm literally in the kitchen with my wife that morning going, "We got to find a painted baby, painted baby." And she's sitting there and she goes, "Paint baby, down, down." I look at her, I'm like, thinking what I'm thinking? And we brought her out, did a whole photo shoot there. Yeah.
That's great. It's adorable. Absolutely adorable. Matt, thank you so much for spending time with us. Best of luck to you with your Painted Baby book and all of your businesses. It sounds like you're headed in all the right directions. We appreciate you taking time.
Thank you.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.